When I built a treehouse for my kids, it wasn't just wood and nails, it was a sanctuary of laughter, imagination, and childhood magic. Nestled in the massive oak tree in our backyard, the structure blended naturally with the branches, giving the neighborhood children a place to play safely. But the joy didn't last long. Within a week, a letter from the HOA arrived in my mailbox, stamped with cold authority. They claimed the treehouse disrupted community aesthetics and ordered me to tear it down immediately. I was stunned. Our backyard wasn't even visible from the street. Why should a harmless play space matter to them? My kids cried when I explained what was happening. The HOA's demand wasn't just about rules, Mom, it was about control. And as I stared at that letter, frustration boiled inside me. Little did the HOA know, this fight was only just beginning. The HOA doubled down quickly. They sent daily reminders, each one more threatening than the last. Words like fines, legal action, and removal at owner's expense appeared in bold letters. It was clear they wanted to intimidate me into submission. But watching my kids' faces, filled with confusion and sadness, I couldn't bring myself to give in. That treehouse wasn't just lumber. It was their childhood. I decided I needed to fight back, but not with anger, with creativity. I took pictures of the treehouse, highlighting its natural design, and shared them online with a post. HOA wants me to destroy my kids' treehouse. What do you think? At first only friends responded, but the post spread like wildfire. Comments poured in from parents, neighbors, even strangers across the country. Everyone agreed the HOA was being unreasonable. The treehouse wasn't an eyesore, it was a treasure. And then something unexpected began to happen. The post went viral. Within days, thousands of people were sharing their outrage. Hashtags like #TarmSaveTheTreehouse began trending, and news outlets picked up the story. Reporters wanted interviews, neighbors wanted tours, and families showed up to snap pictures of the famous treehouse. What was once just my kids' secret hideaway had suddenly become a symbol of community spirit. Cars began stopping on our street, families pointing and waving. The HOA, however, was livid. They sent me yet another notice, this time accusing me of attracting unwanted attention to the neighborhood. Their tone grew more desperate, as if they realized they were losing control of the narrative. But the more they pushed, the more people rallied behind us. My inbox flooded with messages of support, even offers from lawyers to defend us for free. The HOA had tried to isolate us, but instead, they had turned the treehouse into something much bigger, and the next escalation caught even me off guard. One morning, I woke up to find a crowd gathered outside our yard. Local artists had painted murals of the treehouse, turning it into a canvas of creativity. Kids from nearby neighborhoods came to play, leaving behind painted rocks and hand-drawn notes of encouragement. Someone even started selling t-shirts with the slogan, "Treehouse is over tyranny." My backyard had become a landmark, a living protest against petty HOA rules. Reporters camped outside, broadcasting live segments that painted the HOA as heartless villains. Instead of backing down, though, the board members held an emergency meeting. They declared that the treehouse was now a public nuisance and threatened to fine me $500 a day. But by then, the attention had grown too big to ignore. Lawyers reminded them that removing the treehouse would only worsen their public image. The HOA found itself trapped, yet instead of giving up, they chose a path that shocked everyone. The HOA filed for a court injunction. They argued that my treehouse violated community guidelines and caused disruption. Their arrogance was astounding. But here's where fate turned. With all the media coverage, our case attracted the attention of local historians. They discovered that the oak tree housing the structure was over 200 years old, making it one of the oldest in the region. Suddenly, our tree wasn't just a backyard feature, it was a piece of local heritage. Preservationists stepped in, filing their own petition to protect the tree and anything built on it. Overnight, the narrative shifted again. Now it wasn't just about a treehouse, it was about preserving history. The court agreed to hear both sides, and the date was set. The HOA expected a quick victory. They had no idea the storm they were walking into. Court day arrived, and the room buzzed with anticipation. On one side, the HOA board, stiff and smug. On the other, our legal team, backed by parents, neighbors, historians, and even city officials. When it was our turn, we presented photos, expert testimony, and emotional statements from children who called the treehouse their happy place. The preservationists detailed the oak's historical significance, arguing that the treehouse itself had now become part of that legacy. The HOA argued rules, policies, and neighborhood standards, but their words fell flat. The judge, clearly unimpressed, raised an eyebrow at their obsession over a harmless playhouse. As the testimonies concluded, the courtroom seemed to hold its breath. Everyone knew a decision was coming that could either destroy or cement everything we had built. The judge delivered a ruling that felt like poetic justice. Not only was the treehouse allowed to remain, but the court granted it official recognition as a protected community landmark. The HOA was ordered to drop all fines and pay part of the legal fees. Gasps filled the courtroom as their smug faces turned pale. Outside, cheers erupted. My kids hugged me tighter than ever before, their smiles brighter than any victory speech. The treehouse had gone from a backyard project to a symbol of resilience, community, and creativity. The HOA, once feared, was now the laughingstock of the town, mocked for trying to destroy joy. And as I stood beneath the old oak tree, watching children climb into the treehouse once more, I realized something powerful. Sometimes, the best way to fight tyranny is simply to let people see the beauty it wants to erase.